Hello everyone, this is Magic with Class, Jeremy Class coming from my room. It's great to see you. First of all, I would like to thank everyone who has commented, messaged me, supported me. It means a lot. These first couple of videos, I know they've been a little rough. I am learning and I'm taking your advice to heart. So I want to thank everyone that has offered me their opinion, and I want you to know that I really appreciate all the support that I'm getting. It gives me faith that the Magic the Gathering community is stronger than ever, and we are going in a more positive direction. So thanks everyone. This is probably going to be the last video for a while where I go over some of the cards that I have on the reserve list. I think the next video I might open a couple of packs for you guys, or I might do a set review. I'm also working on a longer video right now about how other people have incorporated Magic the Gathering into their lives, into their professional lives. I don't want to spoil too much because I really think you're going to enjoy this upcoming video. But basically, it's how certain celebrities and certain people with a higher profile than the average person has used Magic the Gathering in a way to promote themselves. Well, you're gonna see. It's actually quite interesting. However, many of you have said that it's difficult to see the cards because they were in the plastic sleeve and the glare made it hard to see. So I actually unsleeved some of my reserve list cards, and I put them in a container like this. But these are not sleeved in here, so I'll take them out and we'll go over them, and hopefully you'll be able to see them a little clearer. These are not the same ones that I showed you last time. That was in a different container. Okay, so here we go. First card I want to show is Ancient Crusader from Homelands, and it has power and toughness each equal to 2+ the number of heroes you control. So for 4 mana, 2 white, it's always going to be a 2/2. And then for every hero on the field, it gets an additional +1/+1. So it'll be 3/3 if there's 1 hero on the field, 4/4 if there's 2 heroes. You might be wondering, what is a hero? No creature has the type hero. I actually forgot what hero is, but basically it counts more than 1 creature type. So this is actually an earlier version of batching, which they use in Dominaria. I think this card might have inspired the batching used in that set. And I have 1, should have a few. Here's another 2. Wow, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 of these. And I think I found them really interesting because they use this weird term, heroes, and it doesn't really mean what you might think it means. So go to Gatherer, look up the ruling. Next card, Baki's Curse. Another blue spell that does damage. A lot of blue spells did damage. Beast Walkers we've talked about. Here's 2, 3, 4. See, I must have thought this card was going to go up in value since it's a 1 mana instant. Untapping things is pretty powerful. Okay, so how many of these do I have in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 Chain Stasis cards right here. Just in this pile alone. I have more of this card elsewhere in my reserve list collection. Here's Daughter of Autumn. I thought it was appropriate because we're in autumn right now. It is fall. This is a legendary creature that's on the reserve list. And it actually has a green-white color identity. So if you're running this as a commander, you can use green or white cards. I don't recommend it. It's not very good. Next is Dwarven Pony. I have, no, just one. I have one Dwarven Pony right here. I think I got this card because it supported dwarves, and there was a time in Kaladesh where I thought they were gonna do dwarves a little more. Kaldheim is coming up, and that's a Norse set, so dwarves may be important. So hey, maybe this card will go up in value. So 1/1 for 1. Dwarven Sea Clan. Fairy Noble. Now I got, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have a playset of Fairy Nobles, and I got this card before Throne of Eldraine because I kind of knew they were going to do a set based on fairy tales, and I kind of knew that after Lauren, they were going to support fairies again. Fairies are normally blue and black, and this is a green fairy, but maybe some future fairy deck will incorporate a card like this. Unlikely. It's a 1/2 for 3 flying, but it gives all fairies +0/+1, and if you tap it, it gives all fairies +1/+0. So it's a lord for fairies. Popular tribes. I always try to get the lords for those tribes if they exist, because it's a good chance that they're going to go up in value. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep printing fairy cards, that this card will eventually be worth a lot more. Next card. I think this card has been on a lot of people's radar. It's Grandmother Sengir, another legendary creature. And I have 3 here, but I have more lying around in my collection. A lot of people are interested in this card because Commander Legends introduced a new version of Baron Sengir. And in the story, Baron Sengir was the leader of an entire family of vampires, and Grandmother Sengir was part of that family. And I think she was really kind of funny in the story. I don't remember the story all too well, but I think she was like mentally insane or something in the story. So she was always acting like senile, I believe, which was kind of interesting for a vampire to be acting senile in old vampire age, I guess. It's not a very good card. But in any decks with Baron Sengir, the new one or the old one, and the old one is soaring in value, you might want to use this card just for the flavor. Next is Heartwolf, and I have 1, 2 of these, 3, 4, wow, I have a few, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 Heartwolf cards, and again, I think I got these because I saw that dwarves were in Kaladesh in kind of large numbers, and I think they were trying to reintroduce dwarves. I almost thought that dwarves were going to become the iconic race for white for a little while, but it seemed like that didn't happen. It seems like people were not interested enough in dwarves for that to happen, but hey, maybe in a few years, people will warm up to them, and we'll see more dwarves in Magic. I would like that. And like I said, Kaldheim should have dwarves in it. Next card, Primal Order. This card is very good against a lot of people who use mainly non-basic lands. If your opponent has 6 non-basic lands, which is pretty common in Commander, this will do 1 damage to that player for each non-basic land every single upkeep. So this is a card I think that you should keep your eye on, because green doesn't really do direct damage or life loss. So this card is pretty unique as a means to punish non-basic lands. And in Commander, you kind of don't want to destroy lands, but you do want to destroy players who are using an abundance of non-basic lands. So this card might be useful. Now I have 3, 4, 5 of them. We've gone over this legend already. Here's another one. Oh, and now we have Serra Aviary. I actually got a few of these cards when the Sarah Planeswalker card was first spoiled. Because she, well, this is, this card mentions Sarah by name, but it also kind of worked with the Planeswalker, because the Planeswalker was kind of a flying support Planeswalker. It create a flyer, it gave extra power to flyers. So I thought this is reserve list, so I thought this was going to go up in value, and it's just pretty good. It's an Anthem effect just for flyers, for 4 mana, which is decent. I wish this cost 3 or even 2, but at 4 mana, it's still pretty good. I've actually played this in a commander deck before. Temerian Fiends. I think the most interesting thing about this card is that it's one of the anti-cards, which I guess a lot of people don't like. So at the beginning of Magic, you used to play with anti, which means that you would gamble one card at the beginning of the game, and they quickly removed that. Not only because it was very unpopular to have to gamble a card with a stranger, I guess, but even though it does give you the option to not play with anti, but I think legally it wasn't a good idea either to force children, not force them, but to put children in a scenario where they're gambling their cards away. That could have opened up some weird lawsuits. So I don't think we'll ever see anti again. Here's Winter Sky. This is a coin flip card, which is the reason why I bought a few. And I actually bought these before the partner with cards. There's a blue and red partner with card, and I forgot their names. One is a homunculus and one is a giant. And they have a major mechanic based on coin flipping. They make excellent commanders for a deck based on coin flipping. And there aren't many blue cards that force you or make you flip coins, but there are a ton of red ones. And this is a 1 mana card that lets you flip a coin. So in the future, coin flipping is popular with a subset of players. So I would expect more in the future. So this card will almost certainly continue to go up in value. I'm just waiting for the next pretty powerful coin flip card. Next is Amulet of Unmaking from Mirage. Again, its cost is pretty high. It's 5 to cast, and then its ability also costs 5. However, this is a colorless way to remove, what does it remove? An artifact, a creature, or a land. So it's interesting that it can remove lands and offers maybe a mono green deck, especially a mono green deck that wants to use artifacts for whatever reason, or maybe a Glissa the Traded deck, or maybe a deck based on Michonne from The Walking Dead might want to use a card like this. Doubtful though. Energy Vortex I've talked about already. Ungara's Tomb from Mirage. Barrage of Urborg. This is another legend, a black legendary creature, but it's terrible. It's first strike when attacking, so it doesn't even get first strike naturally. And then what? Put a +1/+1 counter on it when you cast a black spell, but you can only do it once a turn. Even if you could do this ability many times in a turn, it just wouldn't be worth it. Terrible. Razor Pendulum. I actually like this card a lot. Maybe a lot more than I should. It's actually not great in Commander, but in more casual 60 card formats, I can see why you might play this. Sardar Jabari. I think this is, in the story, Gerard's father. And I think they made a new version of him as a partner. I think this is the same guy. Anyway, this card has flanking, which is terrible. No one likes flanking. And when it attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. A 2/2 for 4. So not particularly good. But he's legendary, and I really do think he's Gerard's father. So if they make a new version of Gerard or Gerard's father, expect this card to go up in value. Because a lot of people are interested in making decks based on flavor now, more than, power level. Tainted Spectre. Talentor, another terrible card. Legendary creature in red. And for 5 mana, if this guy attacks, all attacking creatures with flanking get +1/+1. As a commander, this card is terrible because there's not that many red creatures with flanking. And in a commander deck, since his color identity is red, you could only play red creatures. And this one's asking for you to play red creatures with flanking to get the most out of his ability, and there just aren't enough to make a deck. And they're definitely not going to make significantly more cards with flanking. I'll be shocked if they make even one more card with flanking. Well, Modern Horizons 2 is coming out soon. No, not soon. Within, a year or two? Modern Horizons 2 is going to come out, and they have put some weird mechanics in those sets that I never thought we would see again. So I guess anything is possible. So if there's a red flanking card released within the next 2 years, expect this guy to go up in value, I guess. But I wouldn't bet on it. Benefact Bottle. Actually, not a big fan of this card. Here's a weird card. Wellspring. It constantly switches control of a land from you to your opponent, which could be kind of interesting. But we'll see. Akujin is the next card I'm going to show you. A 5/6 for 5. This is from Visions. That's pretty good for the cost. 5/6 for 5 was very powerful back when this set was released. Not many creatures had power and toughness equal to their cost. And this guy has toughness greater than its mana cost. And it also has trample. However, as a penalty, because this card had to have a penalty back in the day, they couldn't make a card this strong without it having some sort of drawback. It during your opponent's turn, right? No, it's during your upkeep. You have to put a +1/+1 counter on each of your opponent's creatures. So if they have 5 creatures, they're all going to get a +1/+1 counter. This is not as bad as a drawback as you might think, because there's ways to steal +1/+1 counters in black. There are ways to manipulate and move around counters. So you can actually get around this drawback pretty easily. And I guess someone's probably going to mention that if your opponent has no creatures, because maybe you killed all of them because you're in black, there's no drawback at all. But even a 5/6 trample for 5 in the modern era, that's just not good enough. There are 6/6 black creatures for 5 mana with upside now. Nevertheless, this is a reserve list card from Visions, and for its time, it was decent. Next is a card that I think just went up in value. I have 3 of them. Brigadon Phoenix, and also from Visions. So I bought a few of these, and I have more in my collection. I bought them for very cheap. I think I bought them for under 50 cents. If I see any reserve list card for under 50 cents, usually I try to just pick it up. Especially if I think the card will either go up in value or has some sort of popularity attached to them. So this is a Phoenix. So Phoenixes are pretty popular. I expect eventually them to make a Phoenix Lord, some sort of creature that works with other Phoenixes. So for 5 mana, 3 of which is colored red, you get a 3/3 flyer. And all Phoenixes pretty much have an ability to go out of the graveyard or to come back after they die. So basically, if this card has no death counters on it, I can return it to play immediately and put a death counter on it. If I have a way to remove that counter somehow. I can keep doing this over and over. I'm not sure if there's a way to remove a death counter. Pretty interesting name though. So if it does have a death counter on it when it dies, it's removed from the game. But maybe in a sacrifice deck, since this card will automatically come back when it dies, it's pretty good. So guys, it's been 20 minutes, and about this time I usually get cut off, and I'm trying to improve upon that. So I think that I'm going to stop right here. This is Magic with Class. Thank you so much again for all of the support. Please like, comment, offer me some advice of what I can do better. Offer me some advice on what you guys want to see in my future videos. Maybe you want to see me build a deck based on a certain commander. I'm still interested in hearing feedback to see what kind of content I can bring to you, especially unique content. Because I know there's a lot of people making Magic the Gathering content out there, and I want to differentiate myself. So if you guys want to see something and you're not seeing it on other channels or in other places, please let me know, and I can try to do that for you. So once again, this is Magic with Class. Wishing you all the best. Stay safe out there, guys.